We are live here for Pucks and Dreams and the Hockey Nation fans. I apologize. I had to jump off the last broadcast talking about the Dubois, Laine, and Roslovic trade. My general manager actually called during the middle of the call, so I had to take that. I don't get to talk to him very often, just with the season being what it is. And speaking of that, I guess the big question on this particular video is, in the Canadian Hockey League, will the Western Hockey League play? And I think it's still up in the air from what I'm hearing. So we had announced a 24-game schedule. And in case you're not familiar with the Canadian Hockey League, this is major junior hockey in Canada. It consists of 3 leagues: the Ontario, the Quebec, and the Western Hockey League. We know that the Quebec League is announced. I don't know if the Ontario League has decided to play. Oh, interesting. 1-0 Columbus. Is it 1-0 Columbus in the game? Pierre's messaging me. Well, I think he's probably at practice right now. So, speaking of the WHL specifically, which is the one thing that I know a little bit about directly, it's not clear. We don't really have a concrete plan or schedule. I think there's a lot of things up in the air around the arenas, and by province and by state, we don't know what's going to happen. It's a big question mark. And so why is this important? Because, first of all, our season last year was cut short and we had no Memorial Cup. And the Memorial Cup is the preeminent major junior hockey championship where the champions of the WHL, the OHL, and the Q, and then the host team play for the Memorial Cup. And, it's over 100 years old, that championship. And I mean, we were at top 5 or 6 in the CHL. So for us, it's a little bit unfortunate, especially for our players. And then, we have players that are drafted, right? So we have players like our goaltender, Dustin Wolf. Our prior goalie, Carter Hart, who's now the goalie in Philadelphia. Our goalie, Dustin Wolf, played for the U.S. development team in the World Juniors, but hasn't really played since. So it sounds like once Stockton and Bakersfield are cleared by the state or the county to open up their arena and practice, that he'll at least go there and have a shot to play in the Flames minor league. He was drafted by the Calgary Flames in the 4th round. Gianni Fairbrother, our defenseman, drafted in the 3rd round by the Montreal Canadiens 2 years ago. He's in Laval, Quebec, so he's practicing with those guys for the AHL. Gage Gonsalves, who was a 2nd-round pick and was a really late cut for the Canadian team at the World Junior Championship. Sounds like he'll be in Syracuse practicing with the AHL guys for the Tampa Bay Lightning, who drafted him. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I think everyone's still kind of questioning it until there's a consistency in where you're gonna be able to play. I feel like we almost need to create our own bubble. I've been saying this for a while, but I'm not really in a position to influence that. I feel like we need to just go pick an arena and just play all the games out of their tournament style for 24 games, and you do 6 weekends of 4 games. It's almost like you need to go back to when the guys were kids. Forget the travel, pick a spot and play the games. But it becomes a real question mark. We're not a league that's driven by digital revenues, but maybe it's an opportunity to develop digital revenues. I don't know. It's weird. So I think there's a real question mark of what's the motivation when you're in a gate-driven league. Yes, we want to develop players, but how much are we developing players in a 24-game season? Especially when they can only practice 45 minutes right now in some states or not at all in other provinces. Pierre's saying it's 1-1 Columbus and Tampa Bay. We know Tampa Bay last year knocked out the Columbus Blue Jackets. Hedman scores. He says first. Oh, I lost my sound. Really? That seems weird. I don't know why I lose my sound. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully it's only on Pierre that we've lost my sound. But it sounds like Foligno got his 3rd of the year in that game. So I'm curious. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't know why I would have lost my sound, but who knows? Let's check out the audio. It looks like it's working. And I can hear, so hopefully I'm good. Hopefully it's just your device there, Pierre, and not overall broadcast. So yeah, the point of this was, first of all, ask the question, will the WHL play? Will the OHL play? I don't know what's going on. I think the Q is going to play. But it's a lot tougher in our league. Yeah, you're saying no sound. That seems strange to me because I'm seeing the level says there's sound, so I don't know why there wouldn't be any sound. Seems like there's sound to me, but oh well. Hopefully there is sound on the broadcast. Anyways, just in case there isn't, I won't keep belaboring it, but what do you think? Do you think there'll be a WHL schedule? Will it be another lost season? We know we're not going to have a Memorial Cup, but if we don't have a season at all, what happens with junior hockey in the future? I think it's really unfortunate. It's not good to hear. We don't even know how we're going to do our draft. Like, you can't see players play. How do you know who to draft? Yeah, for you can't hear me. Pierre, unfortunately, can't hear me, so it says I have no sound. So hopefully everybody else can hear me. What do you think about the WHL season? It's not canceled by any means. Oh, Pierre says he has a few minutes. Let's see. We're going to bring Pierre in. Let's get him talking about this. And then, what do you think about the trade that was announced a few hours ago with Dubois for Laine and Roslovic? We were talking about this on another broadcast, and I got cut off, unfortunately. But Pierre-Luc Dubois, as we know, was traded after much drama from the Columbus Blue Jackets to the Winnipeg Jets. I think it's a very strange situation in Winnipeg because you already have a legitimate number one centerman in Scheifele. They just acquired Stasny to play with Laine. And now you've got a guy who really is a number one center. Oh, there's Pierre. Look at that. He's got headphones on and everything. Hey, Pierre.
Yeah, I'm at McDonald's.
You're at McDonald's. I can see you got an advertisement for Dr. Pepper in the background. That's amazing.
I have to wait I'm between two games, so
Who are you guys playing today?
we play in Kendall, South Miami. So we play two teams. So the next game is 4:30. For some reason, I could not hear you on Facebook.
Yeah, that's weird. I'll have to check and see why.
And so you, I got it.
Yeah. So what is your I guess going back to things, before I was talking about the Dubois for Laine and Roslovic trade, what's your feeling on the trade after you've thought about it?
For right now, I believe Columbus win. Not Columbus, Winnipeg win because of
Really?
the position of what they have. So until they find a new center for Columbus, I think Winnipeg winning right now. Because you have nobody. They have Domi and then Alexander Dacier as the line or the center. So they got two good winger, but problem is.
You think Roslovic's not going to play center? Because he's normally a center, and I think that's part of his problem with Winnipeg.
Who?
Well, Jack Roslovic, I think, is intending to play second line center.
But again, he's not like top number one. You know what I mean? Like
he's definitely not a number one.
It's just the chair.
No, for sure. Well, either is Domi, right? Like Domi should not be playing number one.
One thing you mentioned earlier when I was not live, but I was listening to you, is the reason why Winnipeg did it is because Stastny, he become a UFA at the end of the year.
Sure.
So they open up another $5 million to $6.5 million, something like that.
Well,
so
that makes sense.
It make completely sense for them. For 1 year they can, and then see two players, they are not happy where they are.
Right.
And I think the one losing there is more leaning.
But it's three players because Roslovic was sitting out, right? So it's like they all swap problems.
But when you ship Columbus, Winnipeg to Columbus, I think Laine loses more to anything else, right? Because I think Laine is looking more for big city like New York Rangers or anything like that, and so.
Right. So now and what about Dubois? Like, is he just unhappy with the contract situation? Is he just unhappy with the coach? Is he going to like Paul Maurice? Is he going to like Winnipeg? I think is still a big question.
Definitely, yes. Can tell you that right now. Dubois is not a problem. He's not a prototype of players. No, for what I heard a lot from RDS, everything like that, Dubois is going to be a great. I think you're absolutely right. He's on the right chair as a center number 2 over there. So I think he's a great move for Winnipeg at the end of the day. They're losing a 40-goal scorer, but they get about a 60, 70 point. That will give chance more like, corner,
Well, that's the point, I guess. So you got Ehlers, Connor, and Wheeler. You've got 3 legit top 15 wingers. And now you got 2 of the top 15 centermen in the NHL.
And you know, one player played well over there.
Still got no D, Pierre.
One player looking good over there is Lowry. Lowry played
Lowry,
well.
well, that's the thing. I don't understand. Like, he's an excellent number 3 centerman.
Yep. So I think that will open up now. You're absolutely right. I think the biggest problem they have over there is the defenseman. They have to find a way to get a defenseman now to trade Laney and 2 good PTs. They don't get a defenseman.
I don't understand.
I think they should got 1 defenseman with Dubois and not a draft pick.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
I think that would be the only missing. Now, you know, they don't have a lot, and they have a lot. Columbus to trade one of them, just not the right one, honestly. But
Yeah,
I
it's
think
kind of odd.
I
They
think at the
still
end of
need a
the
D,
day, yeah, I think at the end of the day, everybody is happy today. Everybody wants to get trade. Everybody's trade.
Everybody wanted out. There was drama in the media. The coach is, putting his foot down and benching the top centerman. Like, it's crazy. Liney's been hurt, and we know Liney's still on the IR. But it'll be interesting to see when he comes back. I think Roslovic is going to show that he can legitimately be a second top 6 player. I mean, if you look at where he sat in that U.S. development team and you look at the other players, he's as good as anyone. I mean, Matthews is maybe, obviously the exception, but he's as good as anyone that was in that program. Oh, did I lose you? And I'm having drills in the background, so you're gone. So now and I was talking before this also about the WHL season. I think is in question. I don't see a concrete plan to play, and I see a lot of roadblocks to playing even inter-province and interstate. So I don't know what you think and what you're hearing. Man, you got no audio now. God damn it! It's that McDonald's Wi-Fi, Pierre. So Liney will make the Columbus Cannon make some noise, go boom, right? But listen, Liney, I think actually, which this will be interesting. Patrick Liney on faceoffs is not a bad faceoff man. And what's interesting, if you see him early in the season, we saw him go end to end. Will they put Patrick Liney at center at any point? I think that's a really big question. Like, does this guy think he's a number 1 center? I think he's better on the wing, but why not try it? He's got to be better than Domi. I don't know why you got no audio. It's unfortunate. Damn it, Pierre, we can't win with the audio and the sound. It's crazy. I think it's that. I think you're being censored by McDonald's. Let's see. I'm going to close a bunch of browsers. Maybe that'll help. Well, I think we got an interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing both these players in the lineup. I'm hopeful that there will be a WHL and an OHL season. I'm under the impression there's going to be a Q season for sure, but maybe not. I think we've got ongoing audio problems with Pierre. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, Laine is not really a centerman, but I mean, you've got Domi and Roslovic. And what? You're going to put Tessier at center and think that you might try it. I mean, as a coach, you might try. One thing we know about Laine, he actually can win faceoffs. Now, I think the thing about him is, there's a lot of other responsibilities at the center that I do not see him fulfilling. But, stranger things have happened. He's a world-class player. He can shoot the puck. But, maybe part of his problem in Winnipeg is not just that he's not playing with the top center, but maybe he's just not getting top responsibilities. And he feels he can do a lot more, and the coaches don't. And the general manager didn't. And maybe that was just an ongoing conflict. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think the reason I bring it up is normally you would never think, hey, let's put Laine at center. But what else do you have in Columbus? I mean, you don't have a great number 1 center now. You had the only guy that was in that number 1 chair. And I think there was a significant difference drop off after that. So now what do you got? Roslovic, it's a little bit of a risk, right? Domi, he's like a yo-yo. I just don't see the guy having the consistency to be a number one center. Oh, Pierre's back. Let's see. Can we hear you now?
Is it better?
Yeah, we can hear you.
2-1, 2-1 Columbus.
2-1 Columbus. They're excited.
Yeah, is it Krikorenko? Is it Krikorenko? What's the last name? Russian kid.
Grigorenko?
Yeah, he just scored.
Now that's interesting. So Pierre, this guy came back from the KHL. I do not like him. However, he can play center. He's a 6'3" guy with talent. I've always found him as a very perimeter player. He was in the same draft class as Nail Yakupov. I believe it was Yakupov. It was the same draft class.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, the problem, Laney, center, is the defensive side.
I don't see it happening. I mean, I think, but I told you it's interesting that Grigorenko scored because I believe that they probably think he can play second or first line center because he does have the talent to, and he's big, but I just don't like him as a player. He's always been a very perimeter player. But now what choice do you have?
One thing you have to remember is Columbus get 60 goals today.
Absolutely. And, I think as much as I don't like him, Grigorenko with Laine might fit very well.
Yeah.
Because, you don't have – you've got a guy who is a legitimate setup guy. He's a right shot centerman, and he's 6'3". He's not going to he's not a tough player, but he's got size. And he might mesh very well in the power play with a Laine. I totally forgot about him. And we might be overlooking that guy. Maybe this is the fit finally for Grigorenko.
He was a pick from the Buffalo Sabre, if I can recall it. I don't know, he was 6 or something like that, but
he was 12, yeah. And then he played for Colorado, and I thought in Colorado he did okay. But the reality is he likes to play off the half wall a lot. He doesn't go to scoring areas, but he's got skill.
Yeah, he went to Colorado because of Patrick Roy. He played junior with the Rampart.
Quebec Rampart, exactly.
So,
yeah. And he, if you look at, you even just look at, he had 27 and 23 points with Colorado in those 2 years. So he's had, last year he had 41 points in 47 games with CSK Moscow. He had 52 points a year before. He's an offensively talented guy.
I believe he legit for 40 points per year.
He might be, right? And maybe if they pair him temporarily with a Laine, then it works out okay.
Yep.
A shortened season might play really well to how he plays.
The good news is that trade had to be happening because since they bench him Thursday was very distract for everybody.
Yeah.
So I think it was too much now. So I think they did very well to trade him. And I don't know. I would be curious what Montreal offered to them, and also Anaheim. He was at the end pushing a lot for the last 6 hours. Last night I was watching a lot LeBron and everybody, and Anaheim push at the end, a big push.
What do you think Anaheim offered? Like a Sam Steele?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Finland has a great team if you go international for the Olympics. I don't know if the NHL players are going to go back to the Olympics. I would assume they are, but you don't know. I think there's a lot of question marks around that. But for sure, I mean, you look at that whole group where you had Rantanen, Laine, Aho, and even Puljujarvi, that age group, and then Barkov kind of was floating around there, and you hit it on the head. Hezekainen's a little younger. They got a lot of talent coming out of there.
You forgot Enola.
Enola's very good. I think Kakko's turning out very good. He scored again the other night. So I don't know. There's a lot of good Finns. We always underestimate the Finns, and then they end up being really good players on your team. But it's interesting. There's also problems with them. So I don't know what that's all about. They're stubborn.
Yeah,
they're very
of course.
stubborn.
But it would be interesting to see what Laney. Now he's hurt, but we'll see when he's coming back. But I think right now for me, Winnipeg win.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I'm not sure. I think what it depends upon is if Laine. I think no matter what, Laine is going to be offensively productive. And do we think that not having Dubois will hurt Columbus?
Yes.
I think Roslovic is more than capable in second line. I don't believe Domi's first line. So I think they still have a huge hole on the top line. They're going to have to do it by committee. I don't believe in Grigorenko long term. Maybe short term he works out, but I don't see him suddenly emerging as a star in the NHL. He's not Dubois. So it is going to be interesting. I feel like that Columbus consistently overachieves because of the style they play and their coaching.
Yes. And again, I want to mention to you how much I think it was, well, I don't know, 1 o'clock.
Yep.
It was 1 o'clock last night. I was watching, like I was watching Arizona, and I was shake my head again because Arizona beat Colorado. They won yesterday 5-2 against Vegas,
I
and I
know.
was like, unbelievable. I don't know what's coming.
But this
So
is, if you look at them last year, like if I'm honest about it, because I don't love that team, they were like 6 or 8 games above 500.
yeah,
Like they had a good record and they have a lot of depth, and they have great goaltending. Pierre, I mean, I think they have better goaltending than half the NHL, maybe more. I mean,
it's funny you said.
does not get the credit, you know.
It's funny you said that because right now they don't have any idea. Ranta again hurt, and it's only Coimper
He
does
loves it.
everything, and they want to trade him. So I did not. I would be surprised why they want to trade him.
Remember when they said that, Pierre? I'm like, why the hell would you trade this guy? Because he can go on 8, 10, 12 game winning streaks.
Yep.
He's had how many shutout streaks? Like that's a guy that steals games. Even in LA, I think they're kicking themselves they didn't keep him.
But they win right now without Taylor Hall and OEL. That's impressive.
They're better without. Well, I won't say that. They are a deep team. No matter what, when we look on that roster, they have depth. And Taylor Hall's a weird one because how many teams have Taylor Hall been on that have won?
Yep.
The guy's on one team, maybe two.
3-1 Columbus.
Wow, Columbus is on a mission. Welcome. Do you hand?
You know what I mean?
Peter, I got to go do some chores. Do you want to hang on and talk, or do you want to split?
No, I will have to go, but just give you an idea. Tampa Bay still, I think Columbus have the number of Tampa Bay. It's 13-8 for the shot. And you know who scored? I think it's Caboret. Is it possible?
Gavrikov.
Who?
Gavrikov, the defenseman. That defenseman we really like for Columbus.
Yeah.
I think he's underrated too. I mean, again, this is Columbus who find guys that, Teche in France and Gavrikov's a under the radar Russian guy, and maybe Grigorenko pans out. Maybe we don't know what we're talking about, but
we'll see what's happening for sure.
Yep. All right. Well, good luck in your games today, Pierre.
Thank you so much. Have a good one, buddy.
Thank you, Hockey Nation and Pucks and Dreams. We will talk to you on the next broadcast.
I'll be due tonight.
Yeah. All right. Let me know. I'll be on. I'll jump on.
Yep. Montreal, please, 7 o'clock next Vancouver Canucks.
All right. I'm there.
All right. Bye.